Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to FTRL. It is time for your weekly dose of GT2 action, and this week we are coming to you with rounds 11 and 12 from the Blue Moon circuit. Starting off with the sprint race from the infield A layout, followed by the always popular and exciting speedway for the feature race a little later on. So cars on track for qualifying. We're getting towards the business end of the championship now. Last week, of course, was a wet week for GT2, and one man splashed through the puddles better than anybody else, and that man was SBY, and we're on board with now, who took a double victory and pole position in a week where he played his wild card and the team played their wild card. So maximum points for SBY, and he jumped to the top of the standings. That's quite a significant lead now, so all those behind him are going to be playing catch up. One person who was very unlucky last week was the man on the screen now, Unsafe Release, who looked like he was on course to challenge for the victory at Spa. Unfortunately, his computer decided he had other intentions for him and lagged out, so he did not finish that second race, which is very unfortunate because he was looking very strong. Ooh, in the background, however, having a bit of a moment, was one of the stars of last week when he reappears back on camera. He's off to the left somewhere at the moment. There he is, just going through the foreground now. Is Fever, who had possibly his best week in FTRL so far, with a brilliant second place in the Red Bull Ring short race, and then followed that up with a fourth place in the feature race. So brilliant week from Fever. He is lighting the tyres up as he comes out of the hairpin and enjoying himself at the moment. So he had an excellent week last time out. He'll be hoping to carry on that good form, and so 12 cars with us this week, then back to a high number. And after the first rounds of laps in, it is FTRL Donzo who's on pole position in the Toyota. It's definitely a circuit that will suit the handling characteristics of the FT1. He sits on pole position. FTRL Switchback is second in the VW Beetle, just 0.05 of a second behind. Very tight at the top so far. FTRL Panda going very well as well. In third, he's just half a tenth off as well, so the top three within 0.057 of each other after the first few laps. So for Release, it's P4 after the first runs ahead of SBY, and you've got Steph in the McLaren P6. Good showing from him so far. Michael is P7, Junkie Sport P8, sporting an excellent new livery. Of course, for those who've not yet played Fall Guys, I highly recommend you get it. It is very silly but very fun, and he is sporting a Fall Guys livery this week with a nice cute message on the back there, which is currently being looked at by Unsafe Release, which is "You've been eliminated by an old man." So he's sat P8, Fever P9, Just Mikey in 10. Mercedes, you go with her. Cat's also in the Mercedes P11, although he's on an outlap, and JP Greenwood in the bright orange Aston Martin. Then so Donzo, what can he do? Can he put a bit more time into that gap between himself and Switchback? Had a bit of a trying week last week at Donzo in the wet. Don't think the Toyota particularly enjoyed the wet conditions. I think as the game at the moment, these definitely suit the mid-engine cars, so it was no surprise SBY went well. Of the front-wheel drive cars, the SLS was very good, which explains why Fever and Unsafe were going so well. Got strong results. Donzo comes around the final corner. He was a quarter of a second up, then through that final sector checkpoint. As he comes to the line, does he increase the gap to Switchback? He does indeed. He lost a little bit of time in the final sector, but moves to a 107.1. SBY, however, halves that deficit straight away there with a 107.156 of his own. Donzo with a 107.104. Pops himself up with a P2, relegates Switchback to third. Plans down to fourth. Getting some new tyres. Just over 5 minutes remaining then. We'll be looking forward to the Speedway a little later on. It's a bit of a lottery, the Speedway. It's all about staying in contention, really. More than anything, it's like to be a pack race, so we're going to see 50 minutes of just jostling for position, and then a sprint towards the end as well. Just clips the grass there as he comes out of the right-hander. That's the NSX shaking his head. gathers it up. Donzo again, as he just comes around to finish another lap. Does he extend that lead? Does he get into the 106s? No, not quicker this time. SBY behind him. Or improves, but not quite enough. Down to a 107, 113 now, just 9 thousandths shy. So once again, that gap between the top two, less than a blink of an eye. 9 thousandths of a second between Donzo and SBY. These two know each other very well. And they are very closely matched on track as well. And SBY is fastest in the first sector. Might be enough to jump him back into the lead, or into the lead for the first time. So let's see what he can do. Junkie Sport improves up to P5. Michael up to P7, so they both shuffled Steph down to P8, and Zaid now down to P6. Just cancel the 185. We've got top three all in a line, coming around the final, so let's go on with Donzo then. Donzo coming around to completing his lap first. Sweeping banked corner, he's into the pits, so he's not going again. SBY comes round. He was up in the first sector. Has he continued that momentum? He has, and pole position for SBY, who goes 71 thousandths faster. Switchback within his personal best, but only closed the gap. Has not managed to leapfrog Donzo or SBY. So stays in third. Three again out on track into SBY, Switchback and Donzo all in a line. Pick up well. Who's currently P4. Let's see how he's getting on through the first sector. Well, he's purple by 0.167 then, so yes, it's going very well through the first section. Can he continue that momentum? Down to the hairpin, nice quiet entry. Apex gets himself a good exit. Renander's very tricky. Left double apex left-hander. He is up on his best time, but not on a purple time anymore. Just grazes the wall. A couple of sparks just coming off the NSX, so they clip the wall. But he's on target to possibly go P3 with this lap. Charges down start finishing straight, really with a toe at this point of the lap. Well, does go P3, so he improves by 0.119. That puts him third, jumps ahead of Switchback. There's Junkie Sport, he's on an out lap. Steph, come up with Steph now, see what I'm on board then with Steph now, so through the left hand, get plenty of curb on the inside there, don't drift too far wide. And again, this corner is deceptively tricky because it's very narrow on exit, so you can't run too wide there. You're out in the grass and losing time. Yeah, a bit fast left-hander, flat through there, down the gearbox then. All the way down to first gear for the hairpin. Tuck in, out to the left-hand side, then over to the right for this tricky double apex corner. Don't drift wide, try and keep it tight. Again, narrows on exit. Now driving up towards final couple of corners then. Taking a bit more curb there, gets close to the wall, just a little graze. Losing a little bit of time. Down on this lap, so I think he's going to pull into the pits here. He is indeed. So we'll pick up and safe release, and he's about to go on to a flying lap. Let's go on board with him. Go for a full lap. Down, start finishing over the line. Banking starts to pick up here as they enter the first corner, so you've got a pit your marker, bounces down onto the flat surface, tucks in nicely there to the first apex, then drift all the way out to the right hand side, use the banking, up to the wall, and pit your marker, turn in early, plenty of curb on the inside, don't drift too far wide, you've got to be on that grass, he's purple in the first sector, so the tricky tight right hander, curb on exit, it's a good line there, got Steph just ahead of him there, who might be giving him a little bit of a slipstream. Really want that on the banking towards the start-finish line though. Down the gearbox to first. Rounds the hairpin. And moves to the right hand side for this tricky left-hander. Takes him nicely, got to wait, then on the power. There's a curve on exit. He is up on his best time, so he's lost a bit in that middle sector again. Really turning plenty of curb. Stays off the wall. And now we'll just be hoping he can pick up a little bit of slipstream from the McLaren ahead of him, but the McLaren looks like it's just inched away. Now they charge down the start-finish straight. This will be his final lap. Does he improve? He does. He goes third. So made up a lot of time in the final sector there. So excellent final lap from Unsafe Release. Pops him up to third. Where are top two? They're on a lap. Donzo's ahead. Got SB1 switchback. So first, second, and switchback down to fifth now. Coming down to the end of the lap. SBY seems to go in there a little bit hot. He's on the grass. Donzo is not up on his time. I don't think Donzo's going to improve. Can SBY do? Donzo crosses the line first. He does not improve. SBY doesn't improve. Switchback does improve, and he goes pole position. He won't let me select him for some reason. There he is. So he uses the slipstream to absolute perfection there, and Switchback will take pole position then. He dips into the 106s, so 106.9 there, just two drivers in the 106s, so great last lap from Zach in the Beetle, and he will line up on pole position. So grid 4, round 11 is FTRL Switchback on pole position alongside SBY with Donzo and Unsafe Release on row 2. So watch out for the two cars on the left hand side of the screen. They are very quick off the line. So Switchback and Donzo have a job to keep them behind. Some podium predictions then, boys, as we wait for the lights to go out. My money's going to go on... Oh, SBY hasn't moved. Oh, SBY's got the glitch. It would appear. Oh, he's got going. So something's gone. Did he jump the start? Oh, what happened there? Drama off the line. SBY did not move. He's all the way back, and it's Unsafe Release who has made the jump, and he's up at the first. Switchback is P2, Donzo P3, defending from Panda. He's wide there in the background. Alpha goes step as well. The blue car, oh, ground. Donzo's gone round. So drama for two of the favourites for the race on the opening lap. Oh, contact. He's hit SBY. Oh, it's all gone wrong. On the opening lap, Donzo's around. SBY didn't move off the grid. And all that has given Unsafe Release a second lead. At the end of the first lap, up to second place goes Panda. So the order has been really shaken up. You've got Panda second, Switchback third, just Mikey's up to fourth, Steph is P5, JP Greenwood P6, got Junkie Sport down to 7th, Michael is P8, Nexus Cats is P9, SBY down to 10th, and Donzo is P11, and well off the bat we've lost Fever somewhere in all of this as well. So he must have lagged out of the session perhaps there. But all kicking off, and Donzo's 10 seconds off the back already, so Donzo's had an awful first lap there. He came into this corner here, we saw him run wide out into the grass, he span round, and as he tried to correct himself, got clipped by SBY. So two of the race favourites are now at the back. So, well, on to lap 2 then. And Unsafe Release leads after all Panda, P2, trying to chase him down. Switchback right on his tail as well, he used the slipstream to brilliant effect. In qualifying, what can he do in the race? Tucked him out the back of FTRL Panda now, he's close. They come round the banking to the start finish right there. Will we see him slipstream past? He's out of the slipstream already. Door alongside, dips back in. Tried a little bit of contact there and just pushed Panda ahead of him. Maybe if they move into turn 1, he pulls back out to the inside. He'll have the apex, and up into P2 he goes. Can Will cut back underneath him though? Is Will going to switch back? He's up the inside. And now he's got the inside for turn 2. Oh, contact! And into the wall goes Switchback. Oh, and round he goes. Oh, more drama. So the top 3 on the grid have all spun in the opening 3 laps. There's SBY coming round. Oh dearie me, it's all going off in this one so far. All that has given Unsafe Release a nice big lead, and now has left Panda to chase after him solely. You've got Steph in P3, having an excellent one so far. Junkie Sport was a P4, JP Green was P5 with Michael tucked up behind him. Mikey just tucked in as well. Those two having good runs so far, and Nexus Cat's not far behind either. And then you've got all the guys who have been delayed. SBY has switched back at another moment. He's now 4 seconds behind SBY and almost back with Donzo. So, all kicking off on lap 1. Wasn't there with a good hit. Was indeed, right. So, Unsafe Release has picked his way through all the carnage. Got the great launch. And he leads. FTRL Panda giving chase though. Good showing this from Will. Missed last week, unfortunately, which could have been a strong week for the NSX. We saw how well City Posh Blue and Iggy did in Wet Week in GT1. He's giving chase, and Steph is also closing in. A very good run. Michael's now up to P5, so he's dispatched JP Greenwood. He's doing a great battle here with Mikey and Katz. This is definitely Mikey's best showing. JP Greenwood going well as well. It's Katz down the inside behind him though, through up into P7. Great scrap there. Back to the front then. What is happening? So Release just pulling away a little bit down the straight, using that straight line speed advantage of the Mercedes. However, the NSX very good through the twisty parts. Right, hashtag get your conspiracy theories into the chat, please. So what happened then? So now Will is closing down on Unsafe through the twisty part. Now it's down to 8 tenths. He's almost within slip. In fact, now he's in slipstream range. So battle for the lead is going to be very much on. And the NSX again also quite kind on its tyres. The Mercedes being front engined, but will wear its front tyres out. The NSX and the McLaren behind them both are mid-engined cars, so they're weight distribution is a lot more balanced across all 4 tyres. As long as they've got their brakes to the right bias, should wear their tyres fairly equally. Now FTRL Panda is stalking Unsafe Release. I don't know if pandas can stalk, they eat stalks. So now homing in on the back of Unsafe Release as they come down and start finish straight. Unsafe Release going defensive. Best camera, whether they've got one or the other. There's Will there, but he's not quite close enough this time, but still 14 minutes to go. Unsafe Release drifts wide though through 1, and Panda is going to switch back again. We saw this earlier with switchback and it didn't end well for switchback. Is Unsafe, yeah, Unsafe Release just tucks in. Oh, Will just about kept it on the black stuff. And Unsafe Release coming back at him as they wind their way. Oh, he's side by side then, coming through that fast left hand kick into the hairpin. Unsafe's down the inside. Panda around the outside, but Unsafe Release back into the lead. Can Panda hang on around the outside though, because he'll have the inside for the next corner. Fantastic side by side battling. Holds it to the apex and retains the position. But these two battling has brought Steph into the equation. So now we've got 3 for the lead. Quick drop behind Michael's P4. He's now jumped ahead of Junkie Sport. Katz is P6. JP Greenwood and Just Mikey continuing to battle. Switchback is up to P8. SBY's had another moment because he's now down in P11 behind Donzo and Switchback. So the 3 probable race favourites are currently 9th, 10th and 11th. That's Unsafe down the inside into 1. Panda hangs on around the outside though. Compromise. Let Steph looks up the inside into turn 2, not quite close enough. Oh, don't go on the grass, Steph. No, he's kept it on the black stuff. Well done. Quick look at the tyre, you can see how much more tyre wear there is on Unsafe Release front right tyre compared to Steph behind him front. So they both have got quite a bit of tyre wear, so he's pushing hard. That's further back. JP Greenwood pitted, so he's gone for an undercut. See if you can get back on terms with Nexus Catz. Flash of the lights from FTRL Panda. He's out of slipstream range, which could be key. No, he's not. It's Unsafe Release. It's McLaren of Steph tucks in behind him. hands up who had these three for the podium. Steph thinks about looking, pops back into slipstream, goes for another move, but not quite close enough this time. It just drops back in, getting to round about the pit stop phase. These three have got a 3.5 second gap back to Michael, who is P4. He picked his way through. I wonder if he got compromised by the non-starting Ford. I can only think he jumped the start. Maybe that's why he didn't move. But we'll find out a little later on. Looks at the move, but not quite close enough. Got Michael and Junkie Sport, former teammates in GT1. Junkie Sport coming back at Michael now. So battle for fourth place is on. A little bit further back, you've got Katz in a bit of a lonely gap at the moment. As Donzo has got ahead of Switchback, and those two now closing on just Mikey. JP Greenwood and SBY 10th and 11th. JP Greenwood has just stopped, however. Wrestling Master Martin around the hairpin. Race leader is in. P3 is in. Unsafe carries on. So Michael carries on after Junkie Sport then. So the first and third place cars are in. The second, fourth and fifth place cars have carried on. Honda comes back out into P4. Steph into P5. They're ahead of Katz as well, so clear track for them. Switchback is in. Just Mikey is in. SPY going down the inside of JP Greenwood into one. Take 8th position, but he's got to stop still, so he'll be given that position back in the lap's time, I would imagine. So unsafe release then. Clear track now. He's pushing on. This will be his in lap. How much time is he going to have lost by doing that one extra lap to FTR Panda and Prototype Steph? We're going to be on fresh rubber, they've also got clear track. There they are, says there's Panda. Oh, Michael clips the wall, that's Junkie Sport. So they come back onto the banking. I imagine these two will peel off this time. Yeah, unsafe release is in. Michael and Junkie Sport are in. Panda coming across the line, he retakes the lead. Now does Steph jump unsafe? It's going to be close. Oh, unsafe is out. And it's side by side with Panda. Panda just sweeps across the nose and back into the race lead. Looked closer than I thought. A further back, Junkie Sport has jumped Michael in the pits then, so that Peugeot saving its petrol. And he's got a big gap now, so Michael's got it all to do again. JP Greenwood in P7, but has got Switchback and Mikey hot on his tail. Next as Katz comes out just in front of JP Greenwood, and SBY has dropped in just behind them, so we've got a bit of a train going on here now as well. 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th. Oh, what's going on there? Why is SBY slowing? Something seems to be wrong for SBY. I don't know why he was slow down there. Yeah, he's going slowly at the minute, he's got a problem. Something is befalling SBY, he's having problems. And that is costing him valuable points, having built up, he did build up a sizable cushion last week. That's going to be eroded. So FTR Panda continues to lead, unsafe release, tucked in behind him, and Steph just over a second back as well, so 1.7 seconds covers the top three. It's Panda who leads the race. One FTRL GT Sport victory to his name so far. Is he about to double that quota? Into the final 8 minutes. These three again have broken away. They've got 5 seconds to Junkie Sport, so it's really between these three if they don't make any mistakes for the podium. But in what order are we going to finish? So a belated podium prediction then. What order are these three going to finish? I might have jinxed somebody now by saying that. Or unsafe into the wall. It's going to cost him speed on the straight, and that might let Steph get into slipstream range. He's just outside. It's about 0.75 of a second now. However, unsafe has picked up the slipstream from Panda again. He's just pulled away. This is the personal best passes lap despite that contact of the wall. After all, Panda with 1 minute 7.4 laps in a row, so consistent there from Panda. Same from Steph as well, 107.407, so he was the quickest out of all the top three. that time around. Further back, Junkie Sport still holding a gap to Michael. Donzo now in a comfortable P6. Then you've got switchback Cats, JP Greenwood, Just Mikey, and SBY. What is going on with the Ford man? Double winner last week. He's off the back at the moment. So Panda just opening that gap up in the mid part of the lap, the twisty section where the NSX is strong. But then as we get back onto the banking, this is where the Mercedes comes back at him. He is outside of the slipstream range. Steph not quite in the slipstream at the moment. As you can see, they're just inching away down the start finish straight, and he's just inching back up onto the rear wing of Panda. Panda looking very good at the moment, although in a bit of a wobble as he comes off the banking into one. Gathers it up. Very equidistant now. So Panda just putting some time into Unsafe. Unsafe holding that gap to Steph. Just under 6 minutes to go. So we're looking at about 5 or 6 more laps as well. So plenty of time for this to change. Back still, Junkie Sport holding fourth, keeping the gap to Michael. He's got a big gap back to Donzo. After that awful opening lap. Switchback and Cats in a battle for P7 and P8. JP Greenwood and Just Mikey battling 9th and 10th. And SVY is pissing again. I think he's probably just going for fastest lap now. Seems to be having some sort of technical difficulties. Does a 173, Unsafe 177, Steph a 181 then, so Panda now starting to stretch his legs, putting time into Unsafe release. Does Unsafe have anything to come back at Panda with? He's now 1.7 seconds back, so the NSX is now starting to pull away. Less than 5 minutes to go, Unsafe out onto the grass. Gives him a little bit more time. Steph closing a little bit again. Michael is very slowly chipping away at this gap between himself and Junkie Sport. Again, that Peugeot quite good through the twisty bits. Corvette, of course, will be excellent down the straights. And to put more fuel in definitely cost him. P6 switchback has now put a bit of a gap into Nexus Cats in the battle for P7. JP Greenwood and Mikey also running fairly close. So JP Greenwood just opening that gap up a little bit. SBY is technical difficulties of some sort. He was braking in places where he shouldn't be braking, so I wonder if he's got issues with his pad or his wheel. I don't know what he's using, but there's something definitely wrong with that. It might explain why he didn't get off the line as well. We'll investigate that in between races. So the gap now between first and second is 3 seconds after Panda is off and away. Steph is starting to close in on Unsafe. He's just chipping away. He's almost, in fact, he's now within slipstream range of the Mercedes. So battle for P2 is very much on. Tyre fairly equal, if I'm honest. Maybe Steph is a little bit better with his front right, but his right rear is also a bit more worn. He has got the slipstream this time around. He's within that 7.5 tenths. Unsafe going defensive, you can see. He knows it. I don't think Steph will be close enough this time around, but he will pull himself right onto the rear wing of the Mercedes. And as we head into the twisty section, can he look for a way through? Excellent run from Steph. I think this is his best run of the season. You can see now right onto the tail of Unsafe through the twisty parts. McLaren very good through those parts. He's got a good run. Head down through the kink towards the hairpin. He moves over to the right hand side. Unsafe goes to cover. It's not this time. Unsafe right around the outside there, trying to keep the momentum up. Steph taking a tighter line. Battle between these two. The gap now 4.2 to the race leader, so FTRL Panda is off and away. Inside 2 minutes, so we'll have 2 more laps. Around the banking then, Unsafe Release again drops down to the inside to try and break the slipstream from the McLaren. Again, not quite close enough, so Unsafe doing everything he can to maintain that position. Look further back, Michael continues to chip away at this gap. It's now under a second. So he's coming back at Junkie Sport, although he's gone in a little bit hot to 1, but gets it stopped. On his way, Donzo behind in a lonely P6. Switch back again, also in a lonely position now, put more time into Katz. He was also running quite lonely. JP Goodwin and Mikey still running fairly close together. JP Goodwin suffering with quite high tyre wear after that early stop. Just 1 more lap to go. This will be his final lap. Just Mikey keeping him honest. Good run from Mikey, and high up early on. This is the battle we need to watch then, the battle for P2. This is the penultimate lap, they will have 1 more lap to go. Unsafe Release on the red line already. Is he tight on fuel? So again, down to the inside to try and break the slipstream. Half a second, so again, Steph not within striking distance at the moment. He's a mistake from Unsafe, a little bit away from the apex there. Steph holds a tighter line, takes a couple of tenths out of him. Sports open that gap up again to Michael, so barring a mistake, he will take P4. But can Steph open the door on the final lap? He's got it down to 3 tenths, 2 tenths. He's coming again. He's come down towards the hairpin. Can he have a look up the inside? He does. Unsafe goes defensive, drives down the middle of the track. Compromises the entrance. Again, you can see Unsafe opens the taps up, gets the back end spinning. Oh, he's wide there though. Can Steph get down the inside? Not quite. Unsafe swoops around the outside, keeps the pace up. Out of the final corner. It's going to be a drag race to the line. Unsafe's had a poor exit. Trying to break the toe already, but coming to the line for his first GT2 victory, FTRL Panda wins at the Blue Moon Speedway. Infield 8 behind them, here comes the battle. It's going to be Unsafe Release by 69 thousandths of a second. Takes P2, Steph P3, Junkie Sport comes in P4 ahead of Michael, and Donzo recovering to P6. So some dramas befalling some of the favourites for that one early on, and the man who takes full advantage is FTRL Panda. What a fantastic drive from him. Takes his first victory in GT2. Unsafe Release and Prototype Steph also having excellent runs there. Great battle between those two. Unsafe doing everything he can to hold on to position. Steph just not quite able to find a gap. Right, I think because SPY is in the pits, this will count down the timer, so hopefully he'll find a resolution to his problem for the Speedway race. Hopefully Faber will be back as well. I'm not quite sure what happened to him. But what a race that one was. A lot of love in the chat there for that victory for FTRL Panda. And I'm sure he will be made up with that one as well. Only his second win in GT Sport. I'm sure he will be delighted with that one. Can he make it a double a little later on then in the feature race? It's a bit of a lottery, so anything can happen. Unsafe there. Great early pace. The tyre wear was just key there. Couldn't quite stay on terms with the NSX through the twisty part of the lap. And then had to do a fantastic rearguard action to hold off Steph, who was having his best race in that McLaren. Did an excellent job there. Didn't quite manage to find a way through, but P3 is an excellent result. To find out what is going on. Yep. So SBY's brake pedal is sticking on. That's why he is. That's why he didn't get off the line. And that's why he stayed in the pits. So victory for FTRL Panda on 5th on the grid. And now we await the feature race. So SB1 just trying to sort his pedals out, so we'll have a bit of a break, so hopefully he can get that sorted before round 2. If not, he says he'll be on his pad, so he'll be in this one either way. So 50 minutes of oval racing, and this is going to be, well, spectacular to behold. It's always exciting racing at Blue Moon Speedway. What strategy is going to pay off? I think at the 50-minute race now, it's definitely just a case of go balls to the wall, hard as you can, and figure out where you're going to be towards the end. So then we prepare ourselves for Blue Moon Speedway. Or is FIBA coming back, I wonder? Oh, he's crushed his controller. Oh dear. Well, that's very sad, unfortunately, for FIBA. He's broken his controller, so no FIBA tonight, unfortunately. That's a shame, but fingers crossed he'll be back in time for next week. So I would say, what predictions does anybody have for the oval? But as we all know, it's a bit of a lottery, this race, so anybody could win this one potentially. This could be Mikey's chance, so I'm going to put my money on Mikey. Go on, Mikey, you can do it for us. So SBY going on to pad for this one then, so he'll be back, but he'll be on his pad. And have a lap of the oval, so down the start finish straight, look for your braking point, down a couple of gears to 4th, into the banking, up to the wall on the right hand side, and again back up the box. Back up to top gear. This is nothing more than an inconvenience, this corner, so flat through here, keep low to the apex, and again up to the wall, not into the wall, Mikey, isn't that right? Down the gear into the final corner, touch the apex, and then again out to the wall on the right hand side. And that is a lap of Blue Moon Speedway. Expect to see a slipstream battle to end all slipstream battles around here. The key thing is just staying in touch with the leaders. You've got to be there at the end. Figure out how long you can run. Make sure you pit and have enough to go to the end. And and just hope you're in the position to win it at the end. So we could see people try and conserve fuel and conserve the pace, or we could see people try and stretch it out. Drag the field apart, because we've seen in the past that jostling for position, it can very easily go from running at the front to running at the back to running in the middle to front to back, and sometimes it can be difficult to overtake if people are trying to save fuel. So anything can happen in this one. So just thank you for everybody who has joined us tonight. If there is anybody who is not currently part of FTRL watching who has seen the races, like what they see and would like to be a part of this, we are recruiting for season 10, so spaces are available potentially across both divisions. So if you fancy being part of the FTRL action for next season, or even if you are good enough for our GT1 division, we have a couple of spaces open now actually. So if you are one of the sweaty bastards who are fancy themselves as a GT Sport god, please do get in touch. We've got a couple of spaces available in our top division for this season, and of course for next season as well, so please do get in touch. Visit the Twitter, which is FTRL GT Sport. There is a pinned tweet with a sign up link to our website. Pop your details in there and we will be in touch, and maybe you can be the next GT Sport legend. FTRL. So let's be right back on track. Getting a bump draft from Will at the moment. On pad around here, around here won't be too much of a hindrance on pad, to be honest. Obviously you can take the first corner better on a wheel in certain cars, so expect a lot of this that we're seeing now: side by side action, slipstreaming, overtaking, adjusting position. And of course, got 1 minute to go. Please do remember that GT1 is tomorrow. Rounds 11 and 12 of GT1 coming from, where are we this week? Forgotten already. It is Sardinia this week, so Sardinia C will host our sprint race, followed by the feature race from the B variant of the circuit, so please do tune in. The action will be fast, frenetic. There's going to be some brilliant action again. So, bit of contact there into the wall goes Will. Oh, more contact. Get out of the way now. Get out of the way now, boys. Yeah, there's a link in the stream, by the way, if anybody is in there watching. Want to sign up, please do so. You can join the action then. So, SBY starts on pole position for the second time this evening. No, sorry, I switched back on pole position last time, didn't he? But he was on the front row. He's on the front row again. But not under the circumstances he would have hoped. So, can everybody stay in touch? That's going to be the key. Oh, what's gone on there? Has he jumped the start? As Junkie Sport does, two people have not moved off the line this time. SBY's had a poor start, as a Junkie Sport. What's going on tonight, boys? Right, away we go then, and it is Nexus Cats who has bolted into the lead. Just Mikey P2, JP Greenwood P3, Michael as well, so he goes side by side down the back straight for the first time. Nexus Cats has already opened up a second lead. He's out of the slipstream range at the moment, sort of 3-4 wide, switchback going up high. With just off position, but it's a long race, boys. You do not need to be putting yourself in danger at this stage, because if you lose the slipstream, potentially you are out of contention for this race. So SBY and Junkie Sport have got together. They've got 2.5 second gap already, so SBY is having an absolute stinker of a night so far. However, this man is not. Nexus Cats into the race lead and away. What's going on behind? Contacting the wall, Mikey's in the wall. That's dropped him back, Michael's dropped back as well. Mikey had a bit of a poor run there, I think he got the slight overspeed. He's got to swoop through turn 2, JP Greenwood holding on to 2, here comes Switchback on the outside. Aston Martin very quick in a straight line, so this could be JP Greenwood's best opportunity for a strong result then, but the man who is running away with it at the moment is Nexus Cats, 1.3 seconds to the good. He's out of slipstream range, so it's now to the cars behind them to sort themselves out and try and chase him down. Steph up the inside of Donzo to 1, thinks better of it. And so this Mikey, better this time, all tucked in behind them, and Michael P9, the gap back. It's now 1.6 seconds, so they've taken about 8/10 out of the gaggle ahead of them. That's good running, but these two are going to have to go flat out. Try and catch them. The guys ahead can just feather and slipstream each other, save a bit of fuel, run longer. These two have got to push to get back on the tail of that train. Gap it down a little bit then at the front, now down to 1.1 seconds. JP Greenwood chasing hard. Mercedes is pulling away in the straight line now. I think he's had a bit of a bump draft from the Switchback now, so once cars get together in a line you get a sort of increased slipstream effect, and bump drafting can definitely help bring these guys back in turn. So if Switchback here just nudges the back of JP Greenwood, I'll give him a speed boost, but he's going for the overtake instead. That is early doors, because we're not even 3 minutes into this race. We're already on lap 4. Switchback goes down the inside, just opens the door. JP Greenwood forces him up a little bit. Donzo now down the inside as well. It's 3 wide. Donzo backs out on a slightly higher line. Oops, Steph in the wall in the background, I think. Start finish up. JP Greenwood comes back at Switchback. You see that Aston a lot quicker in a straight line. Using that slipstream, he has pulled a couple more tenths back on Nexus Cats, so they are starting to just chip away at that lead. Cats has a better run out of turn 1 and starts to pull away again. Steph now up to P3 for the second time. You've got Panda and Unsafe Release side by side again. Saves holds on Mikey P8 ahead of Michael. That gap is now 2.1 again, so the train are pulling away from SBY and Junkie Sport. What these two need to be doing is bump drafting. At this stage, Junkie Sport just needs to tuck in and just push SBY along the straights. That will give him the speed boost, but they're squabbling for position. If you can hear me, Carl, tuck in, or if SBY can hear me, tuck in behind him and just push him along. That will get you there, eventually. Nexus Cats is the leader. He's pulled away again. It's back up to 1.3 seconds. So excellent start from him. JP Greenwood giving chase. This is his best run so far. Steph has the right idea. Steph is bump drafting JP Greenwood down the straight there. Not through the corners, because you can unsettle the car ahead of you. We'll give him a nudge. Down through the corner. Donzo up to P4. And save P5. Switchback just getting shuffled back a little bit. Unsafe on the straight, and you've got Panda with a bit of a gap opened up between Mikey and Michael and the pack ahead of them. So can Michael and Mikey get back on terms with the gaggle ahead? Behind them, that gap down to 1.5. So they are coming. SB1 Junkie Sport have got themselves sorted out, and they are just starting to chip away that gap. Michael going for a move on Mikey, holding the higher line. Tries to drop back in behind Michael. Meanwhile, Steph's up high, Donzo down low. Steph runs around the outside very well. And they have bridged that gap, so now JP Greenwood is in slipstream range, so Nexus Cats stay at the front. Could be about to come to an end as the pack have caught him. The field is just stretching out a little bit. There's a bit of a gap forming between Donzo and Switchback. It's over a second, so that's slipstream gone for Switchback. And Unsafe Release. Unsafe Release probably slightly quicker in a straight line. He wants to be at the point of this group now. As we have a change for the lead, JP Greenwood into the lead for the first time. Cats hanging on around the outside. Carries the speed in. They're going to meet on the exit. Oh, bit of contact side by side. It is a drag race. Unsafe, you can see, has now got ahead of Switchback and trying to close that gap. Switchback coming back at him again. They're not working together very well. I know they're in different teams, but at this stage of the race, you just need to stay in contention. So the best thing for them to do is to just push each other along. Behind them, SBY and Junkie Sport have caught up, so they're now on the tail of Mikey. So Michael trying to bridge that gap as well. It's 1.1 between Michael and Panda. So we've got a few little gaggles forming at the moment. So you've got at the front, we've got Steph now in the lead. Oh, yeah, Cat's in the lead. From Steph, JP Greenwood and Donzo. You've got 4 for the lead. Oh, JP Greenwood sived across the front of Donzo there. 4 wide, down the start finish straight. Look at that diamond formation. And we go 4 wide into turn 1. That's not going to work. Donzo trying to go tight. He backs out of it though. 3 wide coming off the corner. Contact between Cats and JP Greenwood. Sort themselves out. Still 3 wide. Fantastic action as always from the Blue Moon Speedway. This should be on the calendar every year because the action is just something to behold. 2 by 2, the 2 blue cars get together. JP Greenwood's on the apron there. He's come back up. It's contact with Donzo. Oh, and Unsafe into the back of JP Greenwood. He's on the grass. A contact. All went a little bit wrong, and that has given Stefan Katz a break. So now Katz again away in the lead pack. This time it's with Steph though, so he's got somebody to run with. Now can those two break away? Oh, Donzo in the wall, coming out of 1. So the rest of the pack are now together again. So the chasing pack led by Switchback. It's 1.9 seconds though. It's a big gap that's opened up there after that contact. Donzo, who had contact with JP Greenwood, put him in the wall. JP Greenwood then got hit by Unsafe Release as he tried to gather up his slide. Comes up to P7, Junkie Sport, P8, Unsafe all the way down to P11 after that contact. Into the wall goes JP Greenwood and Michael. SBY hanging on the back of the train at the moment. Steph on the red line, so we're about to see the first rounds of pit stops, I believe. Donzo looking better off. Switchback has done very well on fuel at this moment. He's only on a quarter of a tank, while the 2 at the front are on the red line. So Panda as well. Look how well Panda's doing on fuel. Even Michael's doing well on fuel, so he's saving well. The Sport's using a little bit more. He's had to push quite hard though. SBY's not doing too badly. Just Mikey's on the red line. And so for Release, almost on a quarter of a tank as well. JP Greenwood has just pitted, so he's the first one in. Steph and Katz follow them in. Through go Switchback, Michael, Junkie Sport, Panda and SBY and Unsafe. So 6 have carried on. They're running longer. 5 have pitted. I think Donzo, and I thought Donzo was doing quite well on field. He is 6 leads, so maybe not. Side by side, Michael and Junkie Sport. Oh, bit of contact there. Michael just turning into Junkie Sport on the straight there. I'm done. So these guys are probably looking to get to the 10-minute bracket. So you can go 10 minutes. That's one that's not in. Comes Junkie Sport. So he's in 1 out of this front 6 to go into the pits. So that leaves us with 5. Back in the lead. SBY up to 2nd after another dramatic start. No, into the wall, Unsafe. Hard as well. Heavy contact with the wall there. Don't know what caused that. Was it just did he have contact with somebody? Was that a mistake of his own doing? That has dropped him off those lead 4. So now he's in a bit of no man's land. Further back you've got Nexus Cats, who has only put in half a tank of fuel, which is an interesting strategy here, and not something I would advise, only because you need to keep the speed up here, and the less time you spend in the pits the better. SBY and Switchback are in. Panda and Michael of all people in that Corvette has run longest than anybody else apart from Will and Unsafe. Quite how Michael has done, he must be running in a very low engine mode when he can do. While he was in the pack, so Michael been saving some fuel. Well, that so Katz will take over the race lead probably at the end of this lap when the guys ahead of him pit, but he only put in around about half a tank of fuel. This is an interesting concept. Steph is P5, he was running with him, he's now got JP Greenwood for company. Look how much rear tyre wear JP Greenwood has already on those mediums. Michael Pitts, Panda has carried on another lap, so FTRL Panda has stretched out 16 laps from that first tank of fuel. He's on the red line now, so this will be his final lap. Unsafe release is in. So FTRL Panda is the man who's doing maths on his fuel best of all so far. This Cats will take over the lead, and then you've got Stefan JP Greenwood with a bit of a gap, but then you've got Donzo, Junkie Sport, Mikey and Switchback all together. SBY a little bit further back. It's got Michael and Unsafe who will just come out of the pits as well. So the field has spread out. Panda pits with 1 litre of fuel left. So first stint is over. Next is Cats will take over the race lead as Panda refills the tank. But some questioning Cats' strategy of only half filling that tank, because the tyres around here don't really make a lot of difference, if I'm honest. Tyre wear is down. The multipliers get turned down, otherwise we'll be stopping sort of every 5 or 6 laps around here. So next is Cats leads then, 5.6 seconds to the good. We've got 12.5 minutes in the books. So about 1/4 race distance. And if Panda can sort of stretch that fuel out again, he'll have to make at least 1 less pit stop than probably everybody else, which around here could be key. It could be very definitely on now for a double Panda victory. So Steph in a good clear second place. Then we've got this battle going on. JP Greenwood has slipped back into this train. Sides across in front of Switchback then, behind Junkie Sport. Ooh, contact there. We've got penalty for Donzo. Or was that from bump drafting, I wonder? So now the game does like to give silly penalties. It's very difficult around here to get rid of penalties as well, especially at the front, because you need to lift off. Around the final corner we come, and getting rid of a couple of tenths of it there. Good job. He's on P3 at the moment. You've got Switchback, Junkie Sport, JP Greenwood and Mikey side by side. They did a lot of battling in the first race, they're now side by side again in the second. SBY is P8, Panda's come out in P9 ahead of Michael and ahead of Unsafe Release, who's still off the back a little bit then, so that contact with the wall definitely helped. Oh, there again, caught the apron there. I wonder if that's what he did a couple of laps ago. That unsettled the car, put him into the wall. He's still got any slipstream at the moment, so he is running on his own, which means that he will have to be pushing at this stage. He can't save any fuel if he wants to get back on terms with Michael and Panda, but they're running together, so they will be slipstreaming. Next is Cats Pits. What does he do fuel-wise this time? That puts Steph into the lead of the race. You can see he's just gone under half a tank. Well, this Cat's only filled up half a tank last time, so let's give him some camera time and some time in the lead of the race. But is that strategy going to haunt him a little bit later on? What's going on further back? Donzo's got his penalty down to half a second. Him and Junkie Sport have just started to inch away from Switchback. JP Greenwood and Mikey in close pursuit. SBY has bridged the gap. He's now made this 4-car train. Michael and Will working together. A little bit further back. Yeah, you see Michael there just bump drafting Panda down the straights. Got 2 seconds to close to SBY. But Michael will be saving some fuel. Just a little bit of a bump draft, yep, there we go. That is how you do it. Safely's in the background there, you can see Cats, who has this time filled the tank. So Prototype Steph is your race leader, and he is pulling away as well. That gap now 4.5 seconds. So Steph running very well at the moment. Donzo has got 2 white cars of Junkie Sport and Switchback for company. Again, they all seem quite happy. Again, Switchback doing a very good job on fuel. He's best of all 3. Junkie Sport just under half a tank. Donzo over a quarter, so he'll be the first of these three in. Junkie Sport going for an overtake. Behind them, JP Greenwood, Mikey and SBY side by side. Now are the two orange cars going to work together? SBY tucks into the slipstream. JP Greenwood's right rear tyre is in absolutely awful condition. Look at how much wear there is in that tyre. He's really lighting up the rears. Car must be a bit of a handful. Through the corners, Mikey getting very close to the back of SBY there. JP Greenwood on the red line. Is he going to be bailing in? He is, so he pits. Sixth position, that releases SBY and Mikey. And Michael continuing to press on, but they haven't really bridged that gap to SBY and Mikey yet. But with the differing fuel strategies, that might come back to them a little bit later on. Safe release, still trying to chip away at that gap. Come round. Mr. Martin, JP Greenwood on his way onto the soft tyres. Steph continues to lead, out on his own. Onto lap 24. Consistency of his lap times is very good as well. Look, 43.5, 43.5, 43.5, 43.6, 43.6, 43.4, 43.6, 43.7. So keeping consistent lap times and just inching away from Donzo and Junkie Sport and Switchback as well, who aren't really attacking each other, but they're not making any headway on a car running on his own. So Steph doing a very good job, although I imagine he will be in this time. On the red line of fuel. And here he comes, so yeah, race leader is in. Donzo I think will follow. Or does he have one more? He does. Two white cars will now carry on. In comes Mikey. Let's move up to P3. Holding his own. Panda. You can see now how much fuel better now for FPL Panda. He's on half a tank. As we approach the 20-minute mark. Safe, still on a very lonely P6. He's not able to cope much headway on the cars ahead of him. Katz is now running on his own. Stefan just pitted is now P8. Mikey P9. Donzo P10. JP Greenwood trying to get back on terms with those guys so we can get together with those. Run the track together. Help them save a little bit of fuel. Race leaders currently Switchback and Junkie Sport nose to tail. So the two teammates working together well. Yeah, there's the bump drafting going on. And Switchback also with a lot of heavy wear on that right rear tyre. Same as Junkie Sport, so a lot of the cars here really using that right rear tyre. Probably a lot of it's coming out of turn 1, I imagine. Sort of the biggest braking zone on the traction. It's also the most difficult of the corners, one of the most steering input. Switchback leads as we go on to lap 27 then. We're just about to tick over as 20 minutes gone, so 2/5 race distance. Oh, Switchback into the wall, Junkie Sport follows him. So gets sucked in there, and that's going to lose them a little bit of time to SBY behind them, who is on the red line of fuel, so he will be in shortly as well. Yep, two guys. In fact, no, Switchback might have another lap in him here. Are they going to come in together? No. Junkie Sport peels off, Switchback carries on. SBY carries on, interestingly. He must have enough to get them. Michael and Panda behind them. They are closing that gap, but these two have done this race before. They know what needs to be done. To go around here, and you can see it in the fuel strategy here. These guys have only made one stop. Everybody else has already made two, and these guys are still on a quarter of a tank. Unsafe as well, in a similar position. He is now just chipping away at that lead, under 2 seconds now. But running on his own is definitely going to be hurting him. A little further back than Katz, who was The early race leaders in P6. And having stopped more recently, he's almost got as much fuel as Panda, who is in P4 and has only made one stop. SBY pits. Drain the tank there. The Ford. Switchback goes again, so he's managed to eke out another lap. It really is the tortoise and the hare race, this one. You want to go fast and want to go quickly, but you need to save fuel. So the less time you spend in the pits here, the more likely you are to win, or be in contention for that win. That's what these two are doing. Still doing 44, so look at some of the lap times everybody's doing. Zach's doing 44s, Michael's doing 44s, Will's doing 44s, and Safe's doing 44s. Next is Kat's in the 43s. So he's pushing on. Steph in the 43s as well. So you can see there's a little bit of drop off in time, but the fuel that they're saving means less pit stops. So even one less pit stop around here could be the difference, as long as you don't fall too far back. Now in my first season in FTRL, which was season 2, there was a race here, and it was a slightly shorter race. I think we were doing half-an-hour races then, and some of us lost touch with the group, so it was myself and Blue Flag had to basically push to get back onto terms with them, and we just went hell for leather, and we had to do an extra stop than some of the guys around us. And after my penultimate stop, I was about 4 or 5 seconds clear and pulling away, but I was just going hell for leather. And with about 4 or 5 laps to go, I realised I was going to not make it and had to pit. So I then had to bail out and dropped all the way down the back. And then on the final lap of the race, about 5 or 6 cars ahead of me ran out of fuel. So I picked up a few places, but you know, the guys who were saving fuel and just managing the pace won that day. And then in season, I want to say 5, possibly, it was the Mercedes versus Porsche season from what I recall. It was the reverse race here, so it was going the other way around. And I think it was a different length race, because we all went hell for leather. Was it the Mercedes? Yeah, it was the Mercedes season. And some of us tried the sort of tortoise approach to spend less time in the fuel, and some of the guys just went at it, and they managed to pull away enough of a gap that they could do that extra pit stop and still come out ahead of us. So this could go either way. However, the man who looks like he's in pole position is this man at the moment, FTRL Panda. He's getting 16 laps of fuel. He'll be in this time. So he's pretty much bled that track dry, which will then lead back to Steph. Danzo and Mikey running together, so the two blue teammates circulating together. JP Grimm trying to get back on terms, but not quite able to do so. Mikey's really eating that fuel up. P4's Panda pits. So, looking at the race at the moment, so Steph is your race leader. So let's have a look where some of the guys around them are. Switchback and Junkie Sport are 9 seconds back, so definitely doesn't have a pit stop over those two. Michael is P7, he's come out. Where is Will? Will has come out. Let's see, Will, for some reason, where is he? There he is, P10. Right, so Panda is 19 seconds off the lead, which is possibly around about a pit stop. Nexus Cats goes by. So Nexus Cats was the race leader earlier on. Now he has also just stopped, so these two are now running together, but Panda has made one less pit stop. SPY has caught onto the back of Michael and Unsafe. So Unsafe Release has really put himself back into contention here. However, he's on less fuel than Michael, and SPY on less fuel again. Unsafe, SPY can now do a bit of saving if he's clever here. Just tuck in behind Michael, saves a bit of fuel for a few laps. But I had Junkie Sport and Switchback together again. Just have to clip the wall there. Those two running together. JP Greenwood and Mikey are pitting. Did Mikey have any fuel after he pitted then? Mikey's run out of fuel on that lap, so Mikey's just coasted into the pits there. Mikey got that too fine. That has given Steph the lead of the race again then. So Steph is your leader. Donzo is 3.8 seconds back. Still got a little bit of penalty to get rid of, but at this stage... that's fine. Still, he gets rid of a couple of tenths of it there again, so it's nearly gone now. So Switchback and Junkie Sport are in a strong position here. The gap back to Will is 19 seconds, so Switchback and Junkie Sport are 11 seconds ahead of Panda. So trying to work out who I think's where. I think these two could be in a strong position, if I'm honest. I think possibly Michael and Will need to pick up the pace a little bit. That's my gut feeling, but we shall see. I mean, potentially Panda's going to make one less pit stop now. I know Switchback and Junkie Sport aren't going to need a long time in the pits, even if they do need to make one extra stop, so that 11-second gap could be enough. And Michael is only 6 seconds behind Switchback and Junkie Sport, which will be enough to leapfrog them, so we shall see. Strategies playing out. We're down to 22 minutes to go. Back straight we go again, lap 37 in the books. Steph continues to lead. Lead now 9 seconds as he bails off into the pits. So Steph is in. Switchback and Junkie Sport. Junkie Sport's a little bit high there, but not into the wall. Now, these two looking very strong at the moment, working together well. They're not attacking each other. At times in the high 43s, low 44s. Ball switch back up into the wall. Back straight, not ideal. And they're calling it, no idea where everybody is at the moment. So this final stint, so when we get down to about 10-minute marker to go, that's when we're going to probably figure out where everybody is. So at this stage, everybody's just moving their chess pieces around. Nobody's really striking yet. So, like I said, at this stage of the race, it's just keep yourself in contention. So, top two. Oh, Michael with an aggressive pull out there at the final corner, just saw in the background. He goes up into P3, dragging Unsafe and SBY with him. So Michael over half a tank of fuel, Unsafe just under half a tank of fuel. SBY on about a third. But as you can see, he's just tucked in behind these two. He's not really making any moves. He's not trying to get ahead of them. He's literally just sitting in behind, trying to save a bit of fuel, do a bit of short shifting. That's everything he needs to do at the moment. He'll keep himself in contention. Cats and Panda behind them are running nose to tail. Again, you can see how much the fuel, the difference between these two. These two stopped around about the same sort of time. Cats is on 2/5 of a tank, so just under half. Will is just over half. And once again, we'll just tucked in behind Cats there, letting Cats punch a hole. He'll do all the hard work. Will can just sit in behind, get dragged around, save a bit of fuel, and that means less time in the pits later on. Steph, having stopped, is now out in P8. Donzo has closed that gap a little bit, although he seems to have put less fuel in, or that could just be fuel burn. Not quite sure. JP Greenwood also stopped, he's on about half a tank. Just Mikey, he was also on about half a tank of fuel. So, no battles going on at the moment, it's just kind of hold station. Now, it does look like Cats and Panda are closing on SBY. It's down to 1.4. SBY looks to be in saving fuel. I think he's lost touch with the two green cars ahead of him. As just about to apologise. Put down a little bit at the moment, trying to get back into slipstream range. That's kind of key. If you're going to follow people, you may as well be in their slipstream. Let them pull you round. together, still closing on SBY. Leaders still on their way. Jockey Sport is due a pit stop shortly. Zaka's got a couple more laps. It is all to play for. As we head to the last 18.5 minutes, only 2 laps down. And this race has really opened up compared to the last time we saw it in GT1, which was last season. And the pack really stayed together for a good chunk of that race. It wasn't really until the end that the gaps opened up. So the pack stayed very tightly bunched for the majority of the race. Well, this one was really spread out. You've got groups spread out all over. Zach running on his own. Michael and Unsafe continue to circulate together. They're pulling away from SBY, who is on the in lap. Cat's like he's bailed off. Another pit stop, so Panda running on his own, but he's picked up the slipstream of SBY. We'll pull him round for the remainder of this lap until the forward man likely bails into the pits. Yeah, down to the apron, so SBY pits. Goes through. Alonso behind him. That gap stayed sort of equidistant, and he's not really managed to close on Steph anymore. He pulled a little bit of time back in the pit stops, but on track, those two fairly evenly matched. JP Greenwood up to P7. Jockey Sport now P8 after his stop. Mikey Knight, Cats having pitted his P10. On his way is P11. Full tank of fuel. As the race leader pits, so in comes Zach. Out of the race lead, we've got 16 minutes 40 odd seconds to go, so I think he's going to need at least one more stop, perhaps a splash, but we shall see. Michael up into the wall. He's going to need to pit soon. The question is, does he need to do 1 or 2? So the guys who have just stopped may have to do one more stop while we're looking at the lights, which means that these 3 at the front could be the 3 at the front, because they've definitely got 1 stop to make, but that should be their last. Will's position looks stronger now, only 3.5 off Michael, so he has been chipping away at that gap. Michael seems to be in a bit more of an aggressive fuel saving mode now. P2 here before, so he knows how to play the game. JP Greenwood pits from P6. We need to do one more stop. He's going very aggressive with his strategy, so he may need to run again. You can see that Panda is closing 6 tenths, 7 tenths. Michael is in fuel mode 6 more than likely. Will is eating into that time. Over a second out, and Michael pits. Unsafe follows him in, so the 2 Team Green cars are in, and Panda as well. So Panda's gone a little bit early. I think he fancies the slipstream. He wants to stay with those guys, so they appear to be the ones to watch. Steph retakes the lead. Donzo retakes P2. So these 2 back into the lead. Now they're going to have to do one more stop definitely, but they won't. Depending on when they stop, might determine how many laps of fuel they need to put in. So they might not need to fill the tanks, which means less time on pit road. Switchback and Jockey Sport together again, 3rd and 4th. Now, my concern is that these guys are going to need one more, just a splash. And what's the gap back to Michael and Panda? So Panda has jumped Unsafe. Cat's in between them. I fear he will have to stop again. Then Michael's got quite a big lead here. Now he hasn't quite filled the tank, which is interesting. So at this stage of the race, I think you'd want all the fuel you can muster to avoid needing to stop again. But I have faith that Michael knows what he's doing. So we shall see if that faith is misguided or not. So Panda and Unsafe Release can possibly work together here. These two definitely feel the things out. As Panda's slightly under fuel compared to Unsafe because he's got less fuel, but we know how good that Honda has been on its fuel, so maybe he didn't need so much. So Steph and Donzo are in. Now this should be their final stop. So this will leave them, put them where they're going to be. So Switchback and Junkie Sport retake the lead. Michael 2.8 seconds back. Cats is on Harbour Tanks, he's going to need to stop again. Now Unsafe Release seems to be in the best position fuel-wise out of those three that were running close together before, himself, Panda and Michael. But the gap between Michael and Panda is 4 seconds, so he's got 4 seconds in hand. The pieces starting to drop into position. Now Steph in the background has just come out of the pit, so he's now probably going to the end. So what can he do? He is about 3 seconds off the back of Unsafe and Panda. Got SBY behind him, but SBY's only on half a tank, so I think he's going to need another stop. So not a great day for the Ford man. He's got another stop to make. He's going to drop off the back. Donzo again taking a little bit of time out of his teammate Steph in the pit stops, but again has not really made any headway. P Green with P10, and Mikey fortunately dropped away, but was running well early on. Good experience for him running in the pack. Anyway, your race leaders, and that green machine in P3 is closing. So Michael on just over half a tank, Junkie Sport just under half a tank, Switchback on just over half a tank. So Switchback and Michael have similar fuel. It looks like Junkie Sport is the one who needs to do a fair bit of saving if he wants to get to the end, so I don't expect him to overtake Switchback anytime soon. And all the while, Michael is just chipping away at that lead, so he's running a little bit hotter at the moment. Behind them, you've got Cats. Unsafe Release has come through ahead of Panda now. He's on the chase down, they're 5 seconds off the lead and closing. So those two. Unsafe pulling Panda along, he'll be trying to catch the slipstream off Cats. Can drag him up there. Yeah, you see him going for the slipstream of Cats now. He's in just outside of range actually, so he'll be getting it at the moment. Cats pulling away down the straight. Steph in the background, he's on a charge. He's got the most fuel. He's got a gap to bridge, it's 8 seconds off the lead. Coming down to just 10 minutes to go now, so that will be being made. We've now got 3 for the lead. So Switchback leads Junkie Sport, and Michael has tagged onto the back. So, oh, Junkie Sport into the wall. And through goes Michael. In the background, I think Cats is in the wall as well. Give impetus. Can you get the slipstream? Yes you can, so he's now caught the slipstream. And now dragging very quickly onto the back of that other Mercedes. These guys currently 4.6 seconds off the lead, so they've still got a bit of time to make up. The question is, do any of these three have to stop again? Michael hits the front. So Michael seems to have pulled the pin. See now Switchback has got better fuel than both the cars around him, so Michael seems to be pushing. Is he going to have to do a splash? The fact that he's gone to the front would suggest so, but we shall see. Do all of these three? I think Junkie Sport is definitely going to have to stop soon. 1/4 of a tank, significantly less than both cars around. Cats will be in this time around. So the early race leader into the wall, into the pits. That releases Unsafe release, and Panda 4.4 seconds off the lead, so Michael 43.9, you can see him in the low to mid 43s. Now heads this train. Junkie Sport pushing them round, but he, in fear, is going to have to pull out of this battle soon to go for some fuel. So are these the three that are battling for the lead? Is it these two? Or is it this one? Steph now 7.8 seconds back, so he is just chipping away at that race lead. With only 8 minutes 13 seconds to go, does he have enough time to close that gap down? I think he definitely needs to get on terms with Panda and Unsafe, because they seem to be the ones who are definitely okay on fuel. Question marks ahead. So Junkie Sport on the red line, he's going to be in this time. So just under 8 minutes to go, so we're looking at probably 10 more laps. And he comes. Switchback is in as well, so Switchback's gone early. Get that pit stop done now. So that leaves Michael in the race lead. 7 minutes 24 to go. However, he's on less than a quarter of a tank. I've got a cat fight happening right next to my right arm. I could do without claws flying near my face, thank you. So Michael leads, 4.2 seconds. Unsafe is P2. What has happened to Panda? Panda has stopped. So Panda has stopped for fuel. So he didn't think he could make it. So he's pitted. He's come up behind Switchback, but ahead of Junkie Sport. Michael is in, so yeah, everybody's going to need a splash. Unsafe pits as well. So he didn't think he could make it. He's going to fresh tyres. He will not need much fuel. So, right, here we go then. Everything is about to shuffle out. Who is where? Michael... So Switchback leads. Michael is second, Panda is third, Unsafe is fourth, Junkie Sport fifth, Prototype Steph sixth, however. So he's pitted as well, so here we go then. Switchback leads the race, he's out of slipstream range as well, so that could be key. Michael, however, has got Panda closing in on him. So the moves have been made. Now it is a sprint to the finish. Last 6 minutes of this race. Now closing on Switchback. Gap is under a second. Unsafe is 2 seconds back, but charging. But he needs a slipstream. He needs to catch that slipstream quickly. Steph has gone past Junkie Sport, but I don't think these two are in this battle. I think they're too far back. Cats and Donzo battling for 7th and 8th. SBY is 9th, JP Greenwood 10th, Mikey P11. Good points though. And Michael and Panda are there. So Switchback's lead has evaporated. 5 minutes to go then. Looking at about 6 laps. We will crown our Blue Moon Speedway winner. Michael goes for the lead. Just needs to get on terms really. He's just half a second back, but he is in the slipstream, but he's dropping back even in the slipstream. Corvette pulling the beetle along. He's not careful. He will lose that slipstream, makes it up in the corners. Corvette home scrub off a bit of speed. Pulling back into contention there. Good job, Will. Keeps himself in the mix and now can't afford any mistakes now. 4.5 minutes to go. Lap 61. It's probably from these three. Unsafe is dropping back a little bit. I think he may have touched the wall. It's going to be P4 at best for Unsafe, barring the mistakes ahead of him. Steph and Junkie Sport are battling, as are Cats and Donzo. JP Greenwood trying to pick up the pieces. Michael has made his move. terms of straight line speed, he's probably got the advantage. So Michael's going to be the one to beat from here, I think. Corner, Michael running the higher line, switchback comes off the corner tighter. 8/10 of a second, cover your top three. Lap 62, 3.5 minutes to go. It's between these three, barring any major mishaps. Unsafe now, 3 seconds back, so the pace has been upped, and without a slipstream he just can't keep the pace. Steph and Junkie Sport continue to squabble, as do Donzo and Cats. SBY also trying to get on terms. There's your leader then on to lap 63. 3 minutes to go. 4 laps. So 4 laps to go. Michael now setting purple sectors. He's pushing. And get to the end now. He's trying to stretch this out. Still hanging on resolutely, but they are not close enough to strike at the moment. Switchback is closer now though. He's had a good run through turn 2. Using that high line to really give himself a great slingshot off the final corner. He's now going down for the slipstream off Mikey. And we're just slipping back again. Get up in the corners, but he is on the cusp of losing the slipstream here. Oh, switchback's high. Off one. He's lost a bit of time. And critically, Panda has fallen out of slipstream range, so I think it's now down to these two. Switchback has caught back into the slipstream. Yet Panda has dropped the slipstream, so I think he's out of this now. So it's a purple middle sector there. So the lap times are tumbling. For the last time, 43.2, 43.3 from Switchback. So penultimate lap of the race, I believe. May even get another lap in here. Pace they're running. No, we're close. This should be the penultimate lap, but we shall see when we come round to the flag. Well, now, yeah, Panda is gone. Unfortunately, he's dropped away. Not quite able to hack the pace. In fact, he's on the red line. Is he tight on fuel? Does he have enough to get to the end? Further back, Junkie Sport and Steph still battling. Donzo and Cat still battling. SBY has dropped away, unfortunately, as is JP Greenwood. And over the line, they're going to have 2 more laps. Michael's on the red line on fuel. Has he gone too hard too early? Does Will have enough to get round? There could be an order shuffle here. This is not over. Michael is having to save fuel. Here comes Switchback. Not yet, not yet. This is going to be so tight. I think these two, possibly these 3 might get another lap in. Michael, I don't think has the fuel for it. The drag race to the line. They're over the stripe. There's 1 more lap. Panda's got through as well, so unsafe release will be the first. Oh no, he's got through and Panda's out of fuel. So Panda drops out. Oh, Michael into the wall. Does he have any fuel left though? Switchback is romping away down the back straight. Michael trying to pull him back in, but I don't think is he going to make it on fuel? Is he going to run out? Unsafe has gone. So Unsafe is out of fuel. And Switchback has gone. Michael can't live at the pace, he hasn't got the fuel. And it is FTRL Switchback who claims victory at Blue Moon. He wins. Michael is out of fuel, out the final corner. So they played the game, he came up 1 lap short on fuel. He comes in P2. Unsafe release is crawling around the final corner. Meanwhile, Will also crawling around the final corner, has actually been caught and passed by the cars that have already finished. But he is going to finish fourth. And safe release very slowly gets to the line. Just fell too far back after that final stop and wasn't able to close that gap. He would have run out of fuel anyway. Here comes home P3. And it's the slight guard of honour from Steph and Junkie Sport. Steph prevailed in that battle for P5 and Nexus Cats prevailed in the battle for P7, so he pipped Donzo. He finishes 8th, SPY 9th, not the best night for him. JP Greenwood, some good early pace. As the strategies unfolded, he fell away a little bit. Mikey comes home with a couple of points for P11. And very slowly, FTR Panda makes his way to the line to finish. So there we have it. FTR Switchback, the only one who got the fuel right. He is victorious at Blue Moon Speedway for round 12. Second driver tonight who started P5 on the grid, claimed victory. So that was the lucky slot. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of your action for this evening. Thank you very much for joining us. As ever, if you are on the stream, please do give the stream a like. That helps us out immensely. And do not forget that we have got GT1 action tomorrow from Sardegna, with C hosting the sprint race and B holding the feature race a little later on. And that wraps up the after action for this week. But for tonight, thank you very much for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the action. GT2 once again delivers. We are back again, of course, at the same time next week for some more action. But for tonight, thank you very much and goodbye.